Welcome, this is Dudley Moore from Remote Places, New Zealand. Today we're travelling to the north end of Lake Dunstan in Central Otago and through that famous old gold mining area of Bendigo. From here we head east to Tinkers, or Matakanui as it is known today, but first we must traverse the intriguing Thompson Gorge Track over and through the Dunstan Mountain range. It is a lovely Central Otago day as I ride north from Cromwell, this time on a Suzuki DR650 from Central Otago Motorcycle Hire. This road is sandwiched between Lake Dunstan and the Dunstan Range, granting us incredible views as we travel north. All too soon, we arrive at the gravel Bendigo Loop Rd, which takes us into Bendigo. Here, you get the impression that gold today comes in bottles, as vineyards and cherry orchards surround us, bustling with horticulture and tourism activity. But if you're after a trip back down memory lane into the days of hard work and occasional extravagant riches, there are plenty of historical gold-related sites here to explore. This is not happening today, as I've arranged to meet a local farmer and ride back through the gorge together. But the best laid plans sometimes go awry. I arrived early at the meeting gate and went a little higher in the direction of their arrival. But they also had started out earlier than expected and were parked just a bit lower down past the gate, waiting on the road they thought I would arrive on. It was an enjoyable hour, appreciating the stillness and the views. But then we all wondered where the other party was. Fortunately, both had cell reception, and we soon discovered that we were only 100 metres apart, but a hill blocked our view of each other. So now, a party of three, we headed up the Thompson Gorge Road. This road was first used as a miner's access route into the Upper Clutha from the Otago coast back in the 1860s. In those days, it would have been on foot or by horse, and not as well surfaced as we experience today. We soon see evidence of recent gold prospecting. No, not the scratchings of a prospector's hammer, but rather tracks into drilling pads where modern-day gold hunters have moved a drilling rig to extract core samples from deep below our feet. This resulted in the biggest gold find in New Zealand in the past 40 years. The explored areas are creatively named: the Come and Time Battery, Rise and Shine, Shreks, and Shrek's East Deposit. Some of you will wonder about the use of Shrek, but it is here that back in 2004, a merino sheep was found with a 27 kg fleece on its back. It would normally be around 4.5 kgs. Arguably New Zealand's most famous sheep, it obviously had developed a dislike for the annual visit to the shearing shed. So it had hid away in caves for 6 years, avoiding the annual muster. Anyway, back to the gold. It looks like we're likely to see some form of gold mining in this area in the next few years. Whoa! I can hear the lines being drawn. You can't mine in our hills, normally spoken by people who happily use phones, computers, etc. that need gold to operate. They think it's much better to get gold from Africa and other far-off places we can ignore. Rather than this rather hypocritical stance, New Zealand may be better off asking, how can we recover this resource in a creative manner that leaves our landscape as natural as possible? Perhaps rather than the Macrae and Waihi large open cast mine model, we should use a more directed underground approach. We move on and travel back in time to a snapshot of old gold mining practices. Back then, they found gold, dug a shaft into the ground to recover the ore, channeled water in to be the power source, and located the machinery to extract the gold from the ore it was hiding in. Evidence of all of this surrounds us in these hills and gullies, which we spend a little time walking around absorbing. Then it's up to 900 metres crossing the Thompson's Saddle, where we get great views down the valleys. Looking west, you can see Mount Aspiring National Park and the Southern Alps. Up here we also open and close a couple of boundary gates as we travel from Bendigo Station through Ardgour Station and on to Matakanui Station. Dropping down into Thompson Creek Valley, we come across stockyards and an old stone hut built in 1908 for travellers and drovers to use as they pass through. And it's still in use today. Very basic, no frills accommodation is provided. The road continues up the side of the hills along the Thompson Gorge, soon opening up to provide a view down on a shearing shed. This shed is a 30-minute drive away from the main station buildings, which gives a clear indication of the size of these farming operations. They may be large and remote, but they do significantly contribute to New Zealand's agricultural backbone. We sometimes forget how much we in New Zealand owe to our farming community. We continue along the side of the hill, which some have described as a bit like the Skipper's Road, and then quickly drop down into the Matakanui Valley. This is a productive farming region, also well known as the Otago Rail Trail runs along its eastern side through the settlements of Becks, Lauda, Omakau, Chato Creek and into Alexandra. So ends the Thompson Gorge Road, a very interesting ride that you could spend a few days exploring quite easily. I trust you've enjoyed this video. We do live in a special place here in New Zealand. Make sure you grab the opportunity to explore it while you can, and keep exploring wherever and however you can. Take time to consider what you're looking at. Thank you. Dudley Moore from Remote Places NZ. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and give us a thumbs up, as it encourages us to keep producing more videos.